Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I absolutely concur with the Prime Minister's remarks about the disaster of the air crash in Ethiopia and indeed the earlier crash in Asia that affected the same aircraft. And could I also at this point commend the Civil Aviation Authority and the European Union for taking prompt action about the safety of the aircraft concerned. We need to ensure that all air passengers are as safe as they possibly can be. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has been stubbornly declaring that the only choice is between her deal and no deal. Last night's vote finished off her deal. Tonight, she's not even showing the leadership to whip on no deal. Just a few weeks ago, the Prime Minister whipped her MPs against ruling out no deal. So how will she be voting tonight?
Prime Minister!
I'll be voting for the motion standing in my name.
Jeremy Corbyn!
Well, Mr. Speaker, there may well be other votes, and her Brexit strategy is clearly in tatters. Her deal has been twice rejected and is now dead. And she's not even asking her MPs to support her on it tonight. A couple of months ago, the Chancellor, who is here today, we'll hear from him later, reassured business leaders that the threat of a no-deal Brexit would be taken off the table, while the Business Secretary said a no-deal Brexit would be ruinous to the UK economy. Indeed, the government's own forecast suggests that no deal would knock 10% off the economy, damaging jobs and industry. Why is the Prime Minister still ambivalent about the outcome?
Prime Minister!
I say to the right honourable gentleman, I've been working for leaving the EU with a deal. Businesses and business organisations have been clear across the UK that they want MPs to back the deal. Yes, businesses worry about the uncertainty of Brexit, but there's one thing they worry about more, and that's a Corbyn government.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister doesn't seem to understand. Her deal has been flatly rejected twice by this House by unprecedented majorities. And even this morning, the CBI has said that no deal would be, and I quote, a sledgehammer to the economy. And went on to say there has been no consultation with business, adding, this is no way to run a country. The reason her deal is now dead is because at every step of the way, the Prime Minister has refused to listen. Refused to listen to manufacturers, refused to listen to trade unions about the best way to protect jobs in this country, which is to agree a customs union. Manufacturing is now in recession. Many companies have laid off many workers. Her own deal has been decisively rejected. When will she listen to those workers who are concerned about their jobs, those businesses are concerned about their future, and accept the case there has to be a negotiated customs union with the EU?
Prime Minister.
When it comes to the CBI said that the Labour government's policies would lead to a drop in living standards. That's not very good for the people he claims to stand up and represent. But he talks about a customs union, which of course was part of proposals that he put forward. But it's yet another position he's taken. He's moved to being in favour of a second referendum, but I note that last night he didn't actually refer to a second referendum. He's just spoken about a deal, about a customs union that's already been rejected, and actually, in the past, very often rejected by him.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Mr. Speaker, it would be rather reckless to rule out any option at the present time for the Prime Minister, I would have thought. I don't think her answer will help workers at Honda in Swindon, or those in Nissan in Sunderland, or many others that are very concerned about their future because of the danger to manufacturing industry. Mr. Speaker, Britain's food producers are also in despair. A coalition of UK food producers asked the Prime Minister to call for tariff-free access to the single market. With her red lines now in tatters, will she now back the view of UK food producers and back close alignment to the single market to secure their industry? After all, she promised at Chequers there would be frictionless trade.
Can I say to the right honourable gentleman that the deal that we have negotiated includes access to the European Union on the basis of no tariffs? Might help if he'd actually read it.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Mr. Speaker, it was a former DEFRA secretary, the member for North Shropshire, who was campaigning to leave in the referendum and actually said during that, and I quote, because it's not the kind of language I would use, only a madman would actually leave the single market. The Prime Minister has previously said you can't just reject no deal, you need to be for something. So with her own deal now so decisively rejected, can we be informed by the Prime Minister what is she now for? Does she now recognise the Labour alternative, the 5 pillars we put forward, is the credible show in town, available and ready to be negotiated? Isn't it time she moved on from her red lines and faced the reality of the situation she has got herself, her party, this Parliament and this country into?
Prime Minister.
The gentleman talks about not wanting no deal, yet repeatedly votes in a way that brings no deal closer. Can I say to the right honourable gentleman, the deal that he's proposing actually has been rejected several times by this House. I may not have my own voice, but I do understand the voice of the country. They want...
The House must calm itself. I want to hear what the Prime Minister has to say and what everybody has to say, and it should not be necessary for voices to be raised for a member to be heard. The Prime Minister.
And that is, people want to leave the EU, they want to end free movement, they want to have our own trade policy, they want to ensure laws are made in this country and judged in our courts. That's what the deal delivers. That's what I continue to work to deliver. He used to believe that too. Why is he just trying to frustrate it?
Jeremy Corbyn.
Speaker, I do have sympathy with the Prime Minister's voice and I hope it soon recovers. I understand how painful this is. The Prime Minister's deal has failed. She no longer has the ability to lead. This is a rudderless government in the face of a huge national crisis. The honourable member for Broxbourne recognised it, saying, and I quote, "The government is not fit for purpose. We're not doing what we need to do, which is govern the country properly and effectively." Where the Prime Minister has so obviously failed, this House needs to listen to the country. Listen to unions, listen to people in work fearful for their future, manufacturers and businesses, workers and European Union citizens who've made such a fantastic contribution to our society, and British citizens across Europe, all facing uncertainty, jobs and industry at risk, the country in crisis. She needs now to show leadership. So can the Prime Minister tell us exactly what her plan is now?
The Prime Minister.
Can I say to the right honourable gentleman, I continue to believe that the House today will have an opportunity to vote on no deal. They will then have an opportunity tomorrow, depending on how they voted tonight, to vote on the question of the extension of Article 50. And as I said last night, there will be hard choices for this House, but this House will need to determine what its view is on the way forward. As far as the government is concerned, we want to continue to work to leave the European Union. That's what we deliver for the people on the vote of the referendum. We will continue to work to deliver leaving of the European Union, but to deliver leaving the European Union with a good deal. And as regards the right honourable gentleman, he doesn't agree with government policy. He doesn't even agree with Labour Party policy. He has nothing to offer this country.
Andrew Rosinger.